Happy Sunday morning. Last week we talked about Moses responding to God's call by way of the burning bush. And this week we're going to pick up the story and put Moses in Egypt, freeing God's children. And as Moses walked into Pharaoh's presence and declared that Pharaoh needed to let God's children go, the magicians that Pharaoh had actually began to do some of the same miracles that Moses did. And that must have taken Moses a little bit by surprise. And yet Moses trusted God, and he kept walking forward, knowing that in the end, God would prove his might and his power through Moses. Oftentimes in our lives, the same thing happens as we're trusting God and we're walking according to his plan or his will for our lives. Sometimes God allows the situations that we come against almost to look as if he is building a case for himself. That we're operating against all odds. And in the end, God is going to prove himself mighty. He is going to show his name greater above all names. But we have to trust him through the process. We have to walk with him all the way to the end. And sometimes that's hard to do. In my book, Enter In, I'm looking at chapter 2, and I'm going to read just a little bit out of it. Through all of the events from the burning bush to the parting of the Red Sea, Moses believed God. No matter the odds, Moses had his eyes on the Lord. When God places a dream or a calling in our hearts, the deciding factor is whether we'll believe him. If we do, we find strength and courage in keeping our eyes glued to him during the ensuing roller coaster ride as he creates situations for his name to be lifted up. We may look foolish along the way for believing what he has told us, but in the end, those who chided us will wish they hadn't. And really the bottom line comes in whether we trust God or not. Is he actually going to do what he said he was going to do? That usually involves a lot of waiting, as we have talked about in previous videos, and also a lot of our ability to just keep walking in the face of difficulty, in the face of circumstances, in the face of overcoming or overwhelming odds. Heaven will one day soon be our forever home. Until then, we must face the overwhelming odds of this life with an attitude of praise for the one who turns the odds in his favor every time. You're on the winning side. Don't let any of life's circumstances tell you otherwise. So as an encouragement to you, walk strong in the ways of the Lord, and no matter what's happening around you, stay the course. Finish it out. He will shine. He will prove himself great in the end, and you get to be a part of the adventure. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week.